Good morning. My name is Paul Dalzell. I am the worship coordinator of the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Charleston. Welcome all of you, our members, our friends. If this is your first time here, we welcome you. If this is your first time in a while being here, we welcome you too. Thank you for joining us today. You came here looking for something this morning. Might have been a connection with others, a community, a place to ground yourself, inspiration or refuge from a world gone mad. Whatever brought you here, we are glad it did. Our ancestor faiths, the Unitarians and the Universalists, have for centuries been labeled heretics. Universalists for believing in universal salvation, such a thing as that babies don't go to hell when they die. And Unitarians, because they chose to not believe in a Trinity. Well, the word heretic comes from a Greek word meaning one who chooses. And I think that describes our faith now. I proudly wear the mantle of heretic. Today's Universalists are non-creedal, deliberately pluralist, and unambiguously and unapologetically progressive. We are not required to believe the same way or in the same things. Some of us believe in one God, some in no gods, and some in all the gods. What you believe matters less than how you interact with the world. Doing good and getting good is what matters. We believe everyone has inherent worth and dignity, and that everything is interconnected. But the crux of this faith is do good and get good. When we gather to worship in this place with all of our differences, we shape what is of worth to us. To gather in community, to sit together, to sing together, to listen, and to find peace. Please know that all of us welcome you. We typically do that in song. Please join us in singing our welcome song. We sing it through twice. And if you feel comfortable doing so, greet those around you with a smile, a nod, or a hello. The words are in your order of service and on the screen.
Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you.
Made it back. Please check your insert for goings on here at UUC this coming week and in the near future. I would like to thank everyone who donated, sorted, priced, carried, and all those who came to the rummage sale to help out, and those who stayed after the truck left to turn this building back into a place of worship. As is unfortunately usual, none of this would have been possible without Sarah Stone going above and beyond her job description to plan, coordinate, plead for help, and ensure everything was back in place after the event. We were able to make just over $1,200. Tanya and, yes, thank you. Tanya and others picked out items at the end of the day that will be helpful to unhoused folks and people just getting housing, And then Goodwill came by with their very large truck to pack up all the leftover items. Unfortunately, that same truck did take down the internet cable to this building, and that will not be able to be fixed until sometime in the week. So no Zoom for today's service or internet here until they do. Thanks again for all that help. Also, big thanks to everyone who marched with us and staffed the booth at the Pride Parade and Festival last week, and everyone who donated water. People volunteered their time and energy to help distribute over 500 bottles of water at Pride, and Pride was over 10,000 people, I believe, this year. Yes, amazing. Oh, one more tip on the rummage sale. We did keep a treadmill, and I don't know what this is, but a Hoyer patient lift that we will attempt to sell online. If you're interested or you know someone who is, have them call Sarah. And now pick a victim. Brian, it's you. You're at the end of the row. As Brian lights our chalice, please join me in reading the words in your order of service. We light this chalice during chaotic times. I invite you to allow its light to guide you, to bring you to a place where you feel balanced and present. Let it remind you to feel your breath, to surround yourself with the things you cherish. Lead you to remember one of your happy places. Let it help you release the things you cannot control, and remember that you are not alone, that we are all connected, that all working to be a beacon of light in this chaotic time. Carry this light with you, not in your hands, but in your words, in your invitations, in your willingness to begin. Please rise in voice, body, or spirit as you are willing and able for our first song for all. It's Rooted in Common Ground.
Okay, this song is new from our hymnal. And again, it's a virtual hymnal. I will remind you, not today, you can't because there's no internet, but anyone who wants to access this via their phone or tablet, you can always look at the music, look at the words, and even hear a sample of the song. And you can do this at home too. Anyone who wants that, please come up to me after any service or whenever you see me, and I will help you do that. We are rooted in fertile ground, fertile ground. We are rooted in fertile ground, fertile ground. And the roots go deep and the love abounds. We are rooted in fertile ground, fertile ground. We are building a better day, better day. We are building a better day, better day. As we work and dream, we are on our way. We are building a better day, better day. And our guide as we offer up our lives in the service of justice, peace, and love. May our faith and hope abide. We're creating a better way. eventually get it. It's catchy and we'll get it, but we'll do it again soon.
You may be seated. For many of us, what makes us special is that we are in community. By sharing our joys and our celebrations, our sorrows and our concerns, our peace and our needs, our community becomes stronger and closer. That is the community we all need in these times. I would again like to share the joy I felt at Pride last week. It was exhausting, but experiencing the joy that so many felt, again, over 10,000, I'm told, in community, was just amazing. We also have joys for lots of UUs working together for the successful rummage sale. And someone noted, there's a fawn in my herb garden. Mom is out foraging. I don't have any concerns written down, but I do have sorrows for the Secretary of the Department of Defense, Pete Kegsbreath. Did I pronounce that correctly? I think it's Kegsbreath, I'm pretty sure. Last week, he changed the number of recognized religious faiths and belief systems by approximately 180. Atheism and humanism is no longer recognized as a designation for those lacking religious belief. Pagan and earth-based traditions, Wicca, Druidism, Astartra, heathenry, are no longer recognized, and Unitarian Universalism and even unity are no longer considered valid faiths. Spiritual and New Age movements like deism, weren't many of our founding fathers deists? Ekanar, Rastarianism, spiritualist, and shamanism. All of those are gone now as recognized faiths by the Department of Defense. For all these joys and sorrows, both spoken and those that remain in our hearts unspoken, may we remember shared joy is multiplied and shared sadness is diminished. A while ago, I shared a reading about Renee Good with you. Here's another by the same author. It is Liberal Like a Badge by Robert Arnold. It does have a couple of cuss words in it. I hope they don't offend anyone here. He writes, they spit the word liberal like it tastes bad in their mouths, like it's an insult. Like the people who believe in justice and dignity and books and breathing clean air and feeding hungry kids are somehow the enemy of the American ideal. Well, let me go ahead and take that filthy little word they love to hiss through their teeth and pin it right here to my chest. I'm a liberal, a bleeding heart, soapbox standing, protest marching, dignity demanding liberal. And I'm proud of it, to be honest. Proud of the history I come from. Proud to be the ideological heir of the people who passed civil rights, fought for the vote, wrote songs of justice, and picket lines in prison cells, marched into gunfire and ridicule for the radical belief that people deserve better. You see, liberals gave you Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the minimum wage, workplace safety, desegregation, clean water, public libraries, and child labor laws. You know what MAGA gave you? A golden toilet, a riot, and a bunch of mouth breathers in tactical gear. If you want contrast, I'll give you contrast. Liberals say, let's feed the hungry. MAGA says they should have worked harder. Liberals say, protect the vote. MAGA says to purge voter rolls. Liberals say that no one should go bankrupt from a hospital bill. MAGA says that if you're poor, you probably deserve to die. Liberals say to let people love who they love and live how they are. MAGA says that God hates the same people they do. So don't come at me with your Bible in one hand and a flag in the other like it makes you righteous. If that's what passes for Christianity these days, this cruelty wrapped in Scripture and branded on the necks of children, then you can keep heaven. If they're the ones going to glory, I'll take a bar stool and a half-lit dive bar with some writers and protest, drag queens and lost causes. At least they know how to live. I was raised to believe in the decency of people, to help when you can, to speak up when it's hard, to leave things better than you found them. That's liberalism. That's not weakness, it's strength tethered to conscience. It's moral courage. It's looking around at this mess of a country and saying, we could do better. We should do better. So damn it, let's try. MAGA doesn't want better. They want power. They want revenge. They want a future where your child's pronoun is punishable and your wife's marriage is a crime. They want flags in churches and prisons instead of books. They don't want a shining city on a hill. They want a bunker under a ballroom, a country sealed off from compassion, run by fear and ruled by billionaires who've never set foot in a public school. Am I proud to be the opposite of that? Hell yes. Call me woke, call me a snowflake, call me a socialist or an uneducated elite, or whatever playground slur they've cooked up in the cesspool this week. You can call me a liberal and I'll smile when you do it, because it means I'm still trying, still believing, still holding the line for the soul of this country. But don't you ever call me a liberal like it's a bad thing. I'm a liberal, a Southern liberal, and proud of it. And if that offends you, well, there's a little red hat in a rage-fueled echo chamber just down the street for you. I'll be right here with the poets and the teachers and the fighters, and we're just getting started. Please join me in reading our covenant to each other. Love is the spirit of our faith and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Let's take a moment to sit and breathe, to meditate, to ponder, to pray if you wish, but most of all to sit here together with one another in community. So please relax in your chairs. Plant your feet on the floor. Square your shoulders. Feel free to close your eyes or unfocus them or to gaze into our chalice flame. Breathe. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Settle into this moment, this space. Our meditation words today are, once again, the Queer Beatitudes by Sister Sweet Suffering T, also known as Tim Adkins. Blessed are the fabulous, for they remind the world that life is meant to be lived in color. Blessed are the brokenhearted, for they will find chosen family to hold them together. Blessed are the drag queens, the leather daddies, the femmes, the butches, the bears, the twinks, and all beyond and between. For they will show us the endless creativity of love. Blessed are those who have been told they are too much, for they will discover they are exactly enough. Blessed are the lovers who kiss on sidewalks, for they make the streets holy ground. Blessed are the ones who glitter, who dance, who vogue, who seem off-key in karaoke bars, for theirs is the kingdom of joy. Blessed are the elders who pave the way, for we follow in the freedom of their work. Blessed are the young ones still figuring it out, for the world is wide enough for all their becoming. Blessed are we, the whole queer family, for love is our birthright and joy is our inheritance. Unambiguously and unapologetically progressive. I quote this line from Reverend Joe most every service. That's Reverend Joe, by the way. But I didn't realize how important it is that we are that until recently. In 2022, at the last service he took part in here, in this sanctuary, the Reverend Jim Lewis said to me, "Paul, Christian nationalism is what we need to talk about. We can't let that happen to us." His recent passing made me remember many of his words and the times we spent together. Those, in particular, have struck with me, especially with the rise of Christian nationalism in our government under this administration. As I mentioned in the sorrows section, Keg's Breath's recent memorandum, although largely ineffectual, is just another step toward their goal of making our country a Christian nationalistic state. I will be talking more about that insidious scourge in July. I added a service on that topic as soon as I heard the news of that memo. I do want to mention this from an article in military.com. They spoke to some of the clients of the more than 100,000 represented by the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, the MRFF. Their client base is roughly 95% Christian. The organization's co-founder, Mikey Weinstein, told military.com that this new DOD list is a middle finger to the United States Constitution's separation of church and state. The U.S. Air Force veteran said that codes like this have existed to perform services that sailors, soldiers, Marines, airmen, or guardians want. Reducing the number of religious faiths from hundreds down to 31 is another absolute, clear, filthy, and disgusting, unconstitutional, immoral, and unethical attempt to force only the approved solution, getting closer and closer to Christian nationalism, Weinstein said. He compared the new list to the faiths and beliefs identified by the Department of Veteran Affairs, which recognizes more than 220 belief systems and has more than 80 emblems for headstones. So, if you're dead, you get an emblem, Weinstein added. But if you're alive, you can't even get it on your dog tags unless you qualify for one of these faith traditions that, in the eyes of Hegseth and other Christian nationalists, are worthy of recognition after years of all the others being there. Another thing that made me think about our unambiguously and unapologetically progressive faith was John Palmer's service back in April. I thought he did an excellent job. John spoke quite eloquently about the attacks on our Unitarian Universalist religious freedoms. But to me, it was kind of a typical UU service, or at least a typical UUC service. Our 7 principles are being attacked in particular. Yes. I've heard this and similar sentiments right here. And in our, by the way, the UU's longest running discussion group for years. I've preached on similar themes myself. It didn't strike me as unusual. Other liberal religions also talk this way, right? Right? Then I talked to some of the other faith leaders in our area. Unfortunately, no, they do not. It's not allowed either by church hierarchy or by somewhat more conservative members of their congregations. Don't antagonize the MAGA. Don't make waves. Don't mention immigration or ICE or the war in Iran, let alone Bibi Netanyahu or Israel's genocide of the Palestinians, or the influence on our elected leaders by AIPAC. Even what I always thought of as our kissing cousin faith, the one up in South Hills with a similar name. Many of their members were upset when a friend and I mentioned our outrage at what happened on January 6, 2021. Can you imagine? Armed rioters storming the halls of Congress, threatening the vice president with hanging, wiping feces on the walls, and that was too political for them. WTF, man. Sure, several religions will donate money to help feed the homeless. Some even have monthly or even weekly meals that are open to the public. The Episcopalians have led this movement for over 48 years. Reverend Lewis started Man-a Meal here in Charleston in 1976. Man-a Meal served meals twice daily at St. John's Episcopal Church for decades, until they were paused last November, and then the organization's board of directors made the change permanent after community concerns about security came to a head when a man was arrested on the front steps of neighboring Sacred Heart Elementary School while students were entering the building. But feeding those without houses is not what I want to talk about either. Let's look at Reverend Joe's words that I used as our centering words today. We do not require a belief in a God. I admit that's what first attracted me to this religion. I've said for years that I am an atheist and a humanist, but that I really enjoy a worship service. I was, back in, I think, 2003, a bit taken aback when Mel Hoover first asked me to be a worship associate. You'd like me, an atheist, to lead services? Do you have something to say? Well, sure, but me? Really? Turns out that over 15 years later, I still have something to say. Reverend Joe goes on, we are deliberately pluralist. I do think that's our greatest strength. We have many members here who are pagan and Wiccan. We also have, or have had, members and friends who are atheists, agnostic, Buddhist, Baha'i, Christian, deist, Hindu, Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, and many others. Again, who you are and how you are in the world is what matters. Mary Beth Kirshner, who isn't here, but we had a completely unrehearsed bit when asked by a high school kid one night, "What's this place all about?" I started with, well, we accept everyone, regardless of their beliefs. Some of us don't believe in any God. And then Mary Beth, with perfect timing, jumped in, and some of us believe in all of them. We may have said together, we accept everyone and all religions. We draw wisdom from wherever we can find it. As I continue my search for truth and meaning and education in the CLM process, I see more and more value in finding wisdom in many places. Yes, even in early Christianity. Both the concept that we are not inherently born wicked, or universalism, and that Jesus was a Son of God, not the only Son of God, or Unitarianism, was first talked about in the 300s. Many religions in their texts speak of doing good and getting good. There's some value to be found in their words. As C.S. Lewis said, like the light of sun that shines through the stained glass windows in the cathedral, only then does our humanity radiate with the divine presence. I believe there is value and beauty in each of those hues, tints, tones, and shades. Or, as Elizabeth Kubler-Ross put it, people are like stained glass windows. They sparkle and shine when the sun is out, but when the darkness sets in, their true beauty is revealed only if there is a light from within. To quote from section C-2.3 of the UUA's bylaws, inspirations. Direct experience of transcending mystery and wonder are primary sources of Unitarian Universalist inspiration. These experiences open our hearts, renew our spirits, and transform our lives. We draw upon and are inspired by secular, sacred, and scientific understandings that help us make meaning and live into our values. These sources ground us and sustain us in ordinary, difficult, and joyous times. We respect the histories, contexts, and cultures in which these sources were created and are currently practiced. Grateful for the experiences that move us, aware of the religious ancestries we inherit, and enlivened by the diversity that enriches our faith, we are called to ever deepen and expand our wisdom. Her next line, we support the LGBTQIA+ community. We showed up to do that last weekend, and we have for decades. We have been a welcoming, that's a code word for supporting gay, lesbian, and bisexual people, congregation for decades before I joined. We should, can, and will do more to support our TQIA+ trans, queer, and questioning, intergender and intersex, asexual or aromantic, non-binary, pansexual, two-spirit, and agender individuals. And yes, that support includes using their chosen pronouns. If you, we, I can remember a person's name, then we should also be able to remember their chosen pronoun too. Or at the bare minimum, use what has become the generic fallback, there. Believe that it is noticed and appreciated when we do, and that it is noted and hurtful when we don't. We believe that every person should be able to have autonomy over their own body. It should be a given, right? Sadly, it is not. Some men, it's not all men, but it's always men, use "your body, my choice" as a rallying cry. And that sentiment, as disgusting as it is written in the Christian Nationalist Manifesto. We cannot go back. Our state government has restricted access to abortion and also to women's health care in their attacks on Planned Parenthood. There are people, even some women, who are trying to get the 19th Amendment, that's the women's right to vote, repealed. In Project 2025, it outlines a plan to have one vote per household rather than per person. Is this talked about in other liberal religions in this area? I don't believe it is. But again, Reverend Lewis asked me to, and I will go into more depth next month. And we know that each of us is on our own spiritual journey, and we want to support each other in that. I don't know where my spiritual journey will lead, and I surely don't know about yours. But I certainly know that we will support you wherever it does. Your spiritual journey is yours. If we can assist you, we can share resources that might help, and many others here and I would be glad to schedule a time to talk to you if that would help. As I say so often, you may be tired of hearing it. We are a non-creedal faith. You are not asked to believe in a creed to attend or become a member. As Unitarian minister James Freeman Clark said in 1866, we think it is possible to have a church organized not on a creed, but on the purpose of working together. Suppose that the condition of membership was the desire and intention of getting good and doing good. We come together to get good and do good in the world, said Reverend Joe. And another line I've stolen from her is, as the Zen Buddhists say, each of you is perfect just the way you are, and you could use a little improvement. This, I think, is the basis of every great religion in the world, or it should be if not. Some would prefer to control what you think, feel, and believe, but most, I hope, want to do good to help others. And I think most good people want to be better, to get gooder. I know I do. I would die a happy man if that was my legacy. If I knew he was a good feller who did good in the world, would be on my tombstone. Not that I'm planning on having one anytime soon, though. There's a lot of debate on the left about the term leftist, liberal, progressive. Some find ways to disparage all of them. I'm sorry if you are one of those who sees labels as hills to die on. I don't care whether you call me any of them. Just don't call me late for dinner. Call me a liberal. I wear the label proudly. Call me a leftist. I'll say thank you. I will not apologize if you call my religion progressive. And since I've got to get at least one definition in my services, unambiguous means something is expressed so clearly that it has only one possible meaning or interpretation. It leaves no room for doubt, confusion, or misinterpretation. Yes, Unitarian Universalism is unambiguously and unapologetically progressive. And I am proud of that. What we say in this sanctuary matters. You probably won't hear these types of words in another one in this valley. The subjects, no matter how controversial, matter. You may disagree with them, that's fine. But if you do, I encourage you to at least look into it yourself. Search for the truth and meaning in them. What we do here and out in the world matters. How we are, what we show up for, what we do, how we treat others. And as the signature line in my email says, when asked, how are we to treat others? The Indian Hindu sage Ramani Maharishi replied, there are no others. Thank you. I invite you to once again rise in voice, body, or spirit as you are willing and able for our last song for all, Together We Are Strong.
Again, this is new from your virtual hymnal. So, together we are strong, together we carry on, and together we believe in the power of love. Together we are bold, together a faith to hold, and together we will rise in the power of love. We see so many walls dividing us, walls made of pain and broken hearts. We need each other to break them down, lead the way of love. They will fall. Together we are strong, together we carry on, and together we believe in the power of love. Together we are strong, and together we carry on, and together we will rise in the power of love. We hold each other in the flame. This light we kindle through the night. We will share the hope, heal the pain. Together we are strong, together we carry on, and together we believe in the power of love. Together we are bold, together a faith we hold, and together we will rise in the power of love, in the power of love.
They are today that which is worthy of doing, by Stephen J. Crump. That which is worthy of doing, create with your hands. That which is worthy of repeating, speak with a clear voice. That which is worthy of remembering, hold in your hearts. And that which is worthy of living, go and live it now. Jamie and the music makers will now perform our postlude for us, and then we'll sing our recession.
All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be, all shall be, all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be